Shooting it with Schumann, preseason edition. First thoughts after the Niners' first preseason game. Schumann, what are we thinking?
We were talking earlier. It's probably one of the best displays of rookies that Kyle Shanahan has had that have performed in game one. Now you can't take a ton out of preseason games, but the young defensive tackle Gracen Halton, of course Stribling, the wide receiver.
Stribling's all pro. I can already tell.
7 catches in the first half, and you see what he does well. He works the sideline well, and they talk about catch radius. He's got these hands
body control though.
Everything.
Showed us a little run after the catch.
So it's almost like, do you want to play him a whole lot more and not get him hurt as we get into the regular season? The young cornerback, what is it, Theseus or Cepheus?
The goal line breakup.
Yeah, long, kind of remind me of Merton Hanks. Long guy. And then Duggars was kind of all over the field. And he's in that position where he can play defensive end, outside linebacker, and safety. That's how versatile, and Raheem Morris loves him. And I love what Raheem did. He's playing 5-man fronts, 4-man fronts. So it was interesting to watch. And
we got that D-end with the Guardian cap.
That's right.
Mention him too.
Was that Heights?
Romilio.
Yeah. So, and then Kyle didn't call the plays for the first time in a long time. We were just talking about it. They didn't get a play down on the goal line, and Kyle almost blew a rod. So, anyway, it was impressive. And the quarterback, Rourke, I really liked him. They're high on him, and it broke a rib on a quarterback draw on the 4-yard line. I'm not sure I would have run that, but. Anyway, overall, it was a great rookie class. It is just preseason, but Halton just dominated an all-pro guard. And speaking of guards, that's where we're kind of hurting his left guard. They've got to find somebody to play left guard. So
yeah, I think you bring up some good points. Obviously, it's preseason, right? Some of the guys, even though the Titans did show a lot of first-team players, right?
Played their ones a lot.
They played a lot. So, and obviously the Niners were just showing kind of rookie. Nobody from any veterans really played, right? But, I mean, Jaden Duggar, Grace Halton, Deshaun Stribling, I think those are the 3 guys who really stood out. Deshaun Stribling, with that 15 number, people are saying it looks like Crabtree a little bit, right? I don't think the separation's ever going to be there from him, but he can definitely pick that ball from anywhere around him. And then, Duggar, like you're saying, linebacker from Louisiana, I think Morris is going to move him around everywhere. And then, I mean, their offensive line supposedly is their first team, and Grace Halton looked like he was dominating.
It was incredible.
So if he's, the rookie out of Oklahoma, if he can play like that, and then Nick's boy from the old Dallas guy, Oshie, how do you say his name?
That's Digazua, baby.
Digazua. If you put both those 2 guys next to each other on the D line, and they can cause some rush to the
about
quarterback.
Alfred Collins coming back for a big year too.
Yeah, so I mean, again, first preseason game, but all signs show to maybe some younger guys coming up, and good showing in the first game. What do you think, Nick?
Yeah, agreed. I mean, I think it's good that, like you said, they played a lot of their ones, so it wasn't like he was beating guys that aren't going to be on the team.
Right? Next week.
Yeah, same with Stribling, right? He's going against their top DBs making plays. I think we haven't even seen the best part of his game, which was supposed to be the run after the catch, right? He's really explosive in the open field. We didn't really even see that yet. They said, he was going to be weak in his route running and contested catches. Well, that looked pretty good to me.
Yeah.
So I think that was my biggest takeaway, is that this is a team dying for some playmakers on the outside. Haven't had one in a couple years. And so, consistently, right? Because of Pearsall's been injured. So if he can be, anything like we need it, right? We're here for it. So excited about that.
I think with Stribling too, he can play inside and outside. When I played, you didn't have this luxury. When you play in the slot, you learn how to get open because you have to work within the zone in the middle of the field. Outside, you're just going one-on-one with the guy. So I think you can move him around. I might even start him in the slot, play Debo and Mike Evans on the outside. Let him learn how to get open in the NFL. And then he can take that to the outside with his speed and size and really be a threat outside.
I mean, you got to figure he's going to get some favorable matchups,
exactly,
right? With teams game planning for McCaffrey.
Exactly.
And Evans.
So he's going to be a kind of a weapon that they can't account for because of the players they already have, just like you said.
What do you think of Watkins out there, Mike? He looked pretty good at receiver too, so maybe he can be, he's going to be on the cusp of maybe making the team, maybe their last wide receiver. What do you think of Watkins?
No, I think he's going to make. He's in his second year. He's learning how to do what Stribling's going to have to learn how to do is run routes. And you had mentioned it earlier. He's not getting a lot of separation, and tall guys like that normally don't. So, but because he's so strong and has that catch radius, but Watkins looked good. I think he can be their fourth guy along with Robinson. So I think this might be the best wide receiver group we've had in a long time. So I think you've got some threats there. It'd be interesting to see. I can't wait to see Purdy with these guys.
Yeah,
kind of thing. So because Rourke did a great job getting the ball out, but you saw what he can do. He's got speed. He can go up and get the ball. That catch on the sideline, guy was right on it, but his hands were so strong he just pulled the ball down. So
yeah, he had another third down. Right, he had three third down conversions.
Exactly.
They're going to need that.
And then you get in the red zone. It's kind of the first time they've had a red zone guy, and along with Mike Evans, you got two big guys that you can put the ball up in the air. So offense, I'm not worried about that left guard position, but at running back, they're all hurt. They had to bring in a bunch of
running game looked pretty ass.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't have a lot of our guys. I get
no.
But there weren't like a lot of gaping holes either.
And a little concerning, I keep hearing tightness, with McCaffrey hasn't practiced. Nick Bosa, we haven't seen
the latest rumor on McCaffrey was the tightness coincidentally came right after the Bijan and Gibbs contract extension.
So hold in, right?
So that tightness just flared up.
And Bosa's up for an extension, so he hasn't been out there. So. But it's nice to see these young players come along. Defensive tackle's been a weakness over the last couple of years, and Gracen, like we talked about, even though he wasn't against all the starters, he has technique and leverage. He's 6 feet, about 280, but he was taking on double teams, holding them, and then just making the tackle. I was really impressed with him. So,
yeah, and it all comes down to staying healthy, right? Especially the wide receiver core. I mean, Evans, Debo. Or on the older side, Mike Evans tends to always be questionable every game that he goes into. But if he can play this year, I think their offensive power and McCaffrey obviously are going in. So,
but if he does have an injury, you've got Stribling, you've got Jordan Watkins now, you've got Robinson. So you've got some depth there. I think that we haven't had.
Yeah, and the tight ends look good, right? Obviously, Farrell, hopefully Kittle. Kittle's talking about maybe coming back week 1 from this.
Miraculous.
I mean,
I wouldn't do. I'd make him wait till.
He's so crazy. I could see it happening, but I think the Niners staff is going to hold him back.
Right.
They're not going to let him travel all the way, I don't think, and play that first game. But he's talking about it. I mean, I would imagine he's probably got himself in these chambers and just injecting with whatever he can.
Only legal though.
Yeah.
Right.
Which goes to so. First preseason game, obviously the Chargers game is going to be on Thursday night, but let's get into the 49ers NFL schedule, okay? This year we've got, hopefully, these guys are using their credit cards for the air miles they're going to travel with, right? Obviously they're not paying for it.
I think Jed York gets to bank all those.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you think
for every player.
The American Express black car for Jed York with the miles, but so a lot of games, obviously we got 2 overseas games, right? The one that's Mexico City, right?
I don't know if you got to cross any seas to get to Mexico, but yeah, international.
Okay. All right. And then obviously the first game is going to be in London, of the series. So on Netflix,
Actually, Australia.
Oh, excuse me. Australia. Yeah, you're right. On Netflix here. So, all right. So I'll kind of maybe go through some of my picks. We'll go to Mike and then we'll end with Nick here.
Okay. But real quick, that first game, Niners are going over a week in advance.
Okay.
Practice, get used to the times up. Rams are going the day before the game. And then leaving.
Somebody's going to be right and somebody's going to be wrong.
So, 2 different travel plans there, huh?
All right.
Okay, so it's always fun when we do these picks because Nick is afraid to take any losses. He usually always wants to go either 16-0 and 17-0, and the Niners winning the Super Bowl.
They disappoint me, but that's all right.
As Mike switches things up, and he usually has them losing to play on the spread that he's gambling. Okay, so I'm kind of in the middle, so we'll stay with that. So I'll start off with just saying my overall record for the season is going to be 11-6. For the San Francisco 49ers, okay? I think some of the games that are going to be tough for them this year is obviously, I think Seattle is one of the top teams in the league, let alone their division, right? I think Seattle
and LA technically are in power rankings the two best teams.
Yeah.
We play them 4 times.
Yeah.
So, and I think we're looking at probably 3 NFC West teams in the playoffs under my prediction. So those are always going to be tough games. The other
what do you got us in the division? 3-3?
Well, I got them losing to Seattle, unfortunately, twice. Okay. And then splitting the games with the Rams.
And you think they could beat the Cardinals, maybe?
And I think I think they got both games.
All right,
But
so
the Cardinals always have their way with the 49ers, especially at home.
Yeah.
Division's tough.
I think that's reasonable. 3-3 with a
3-3.
Yeah. And I
Maybe
think
you win your 3 at home, you lose your 3 on the road.
Yeah, so I think those games are all going to be tough within the division. I think all 3 teams are really good, and then I got them losing to Kansas City, Philadelphia, as well as the LA Chargers game. So 11-6 is my prediction. Mike, what are your thoughts?
I'm right around there, 11-6, 10-7, and it depends on injuries. As we always know with the 49ers. And actually, I was sick last week, and Sid says, "Hey, were you by the substation by any chance?" So, there's just some, the Chargers, I think, might be a tough task this year. And Kansas City, is that on the road? Yeah. So, I'm with you. I'm saying about 10-7 or 11-6. So, it's a tough schedule as you look at it. After going to Australia, though, they have 3 straight at home. So, they could kind of easily be, Denver's not going to be easy, but they could be 3-1 after 4 games. Which would be great because they always were kind of a slow starter, under Kyle,
Yep.
and sometimes even getting behind the 8 ball early on. So it's an interesting schedule, and I like that the bye week is right about mid-season. So I'll say that. I'll say 10-7.
All right, Nick.
Well,
We going 17.
last year we finished 12-5. You remember all the adversity, all the injuries that they faced last year. So I got the Niners at least matching last year, and we're going to win 12 games. I agree. I think they could somehow split with the Rams and Seahawks, but even if we go 3-3 in the division, I would still call that a win. I could see them drop into maybe the Chargers or the Eagles. I think the Chiefs are going to have a down year, personally. I know we haven't gone around the NFL yet, but they're an older, a little bit of a beat-up team, and they lost a lot of guys, so I'm not as high on the Chiefs. I agree. I think we got 3 in a row after Australia. Now, remember, Australia is technically a road game, but it's like losing a home game because the Niner fans pack SoFi. So that was a strategy by the Rams to move that game to Australia. I think that's going to be a tough game. You mentioned the travel. Who knows how that's going to play out, but that's just going to be a tough game all around. Then I see us getting right, coming back at Seattle, always tough. And then we got a lot of winnable games around the bye, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Washington, Atlanta, Vegas, even Dallas and Minnesota. I think we'll be better then. So I see a lot of wins. It's obviously going to be health dependent, right? It always is. That's the NFL. But we can't have more injuries than we had last year. So for that reason, I'm going to say we're going to be at least as good as we were last year.
Well, 9 straight years in top 10 in injuries. And
this is the year we bucket, baby.
Well, their starting 5 will be all 30 years old or older. Kittle, McCaffrey, Evans, and you just got, but I think there's a little more depth at some key positions. But I will say, I think this is their last shot with this core to get to the Super Bowl and win. With Kittle, McCaffrey, Juszczyk.
Sure.
And tell you the truth, he plays Juszczyk a lot.
Trent Williams.
They travel to Cabo together. He doesn't start a 3 wide receiver set. I think maybe you start going to 3 wide receivers right out of the get-go and just use Juszczyk in certain situations. And Kyle hates playing rookies, So with Stribling's performance, and then if you saw, he didn't give him a whole lot of credit afterwards. He just said, well, it was
he probably missed a couple blocks.
Yeah, exactly. So he's setting him up to you've got to earn it, not just one game, which is fine, which you do. But Kyle's finally, I think, going to have to play a rookie wide receiver, and hopefully he'll see the way.
So 11 or 12 wins, 10 wins, I think gets you probably in the playoffs this year, right? I think going back, if we want to start circling around the NFL, I still think the NFC West is going to have obviously 3 teams that are probably going to be in that playoff mix. I would be very surprised if all 3 of those teams
Toughest division in football
do not
No
make the
doubt.
playoffs. And I think Arizona is going to be just a dumpster fire. So I think they're going to be easy to beat, even though sometimes they do show up very well against the 49ers.
at home. Can you name their quarterback?
Kobe Brissett.
Boy,
New deal.
Hold in, Jacoby
Got a new
Brissett.
deal.
He wanted more money. If you can believe that.
quarterback over 6 feet.
So some teams, I just kind of made a list of some teams, my thought of around the NFL that are teams to watch this year. Mike likes this team. He called them kind of a young 49ers last year. The Jacksonville Jaguars. Okay. I think they had a pretty, breakout year last year. I think they're going to look pretty good. I think
That's a tough division, though.
that is.
Houston, really good. That's a lot of people's AFC Super Bowl pick. They're a real trendy. Houston is. And then don't forget the Colts were, I think, 10-1 at one point last year. And they got their guys coming back. So I agree. I think Jacksonville's a really good team. But it could be a dogfight for them.
That's another one that
coming out of
depends
that
on that
division.
quarterback finally coming to Trevor
CJ
Lawrence.
Stroud or Trevor Lawrence, whoever plays better.
Right, and I feel the same way about the Chargers. I've been on Justin Herbert's bandwagon for years, and it just hasn't happened. I think Mike McDaniel going there as their coordinator, it might be a godsend. And you mentioned earlier, they're going to come up, or the 49ers are going to go down. They're going to practice against them this week.
Yeah.
So you got Harbaugh, so it's going to be interesting. It'd be a great Super Bowl, the Chargers and the 49ers.
Yeah, that would get a lot of play. I mean, especially the storylines that they would have. So I agree with you on Houston. I think, you mentioned the Indianapolis Colts. They've got to have a down year compared to last year, right?
They lost 8 in a row or something, so that was pretty down.
But they started off so hot. Remember we were talking about them, having an undefeated season. But I don't like Daniel Jones very much. I think he was kind of smoke and mirrors last year. Another team on the docket, the Denver Broncos. Okay, I think that they could be a team to kind of look, and these are all some AFC teams.
That's a top 3 defense probably.
Yeah.
Denver and an improved offense.
And the quarterback
they got Jalen Waddle.
Yeah,
that's true. They picked up some weapons. So.
I like
Sean
Denver's.
Payton's always a great coach.
great
I mean,
coach.
he's really good.
That's why I think the Chiefs are down, right?
Yeah.
I think they're the 3rd best team in that division.
I think we've seen the best of Mahomes.
Agreed.
Yeah. So
the Chicago Bears, right? A lot of Caleb Williams buzz going around. Looks like they may have a decent season. New England Patriots were in the Super Bowl last year, and Drake May's coming back. Their coach had a little interesting offseason, so
some distractions.
We'll see if that kind of comes into play.
Well, the hardest thing to do is not repeat as a Super Bowl champion, but get back there as a loser. In the Super Bowl.
I don't think they win that division. I like Buffalo winning that division. They got to play a really different schedule. New England does. So I see that. I see their season looking a little different. I do think, A.J. Brown improves them.
And a new stadium.
He's also a hothead, man, right?
Yes,
so if Brown doesn't get the ball the first 3 weeks, does he do more harm than good? We'll see.
Yeah, and I had the Los Angeles Chargers on the list. Mike really likes them. I know Harbaugh and Herbert. And we brought it up you guys have brought it up a couple of times. The Chiefs, Mahomes, it's a huge question mark with that knee.
Right.
Can they, keep that winning streak alive? I don't know. I mean, this could be the best of them.
Because once you have an injury, you don't play freelance like he always has.
Yeah.
Especially your knee.
I like what they did. They brought in Walker, so they're trying to take the pressure off Mahomes, become a power running team. But do they have the interior offensive line to run that system? I don't know. And then their offensive coordinator, son shot his wife. Like, that can't be that's a distraction if I've ever heard of one. So, how's that working, right? I just think they got a lot to overcome.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of those type of things that have happened with the Chiefs under Andy Reid, his kid, there's been a lot in Kansas City between Tyreek Hill, Rashee Rice. There's just been a lot of different stuff. They lost both of their starting corners.
Spend more time in the
People
bail
like
bonds.
this conception guy, their wide receiver. I mean, but again, they've got a lot of adversity to come over. The Bills seem strong. Bengals, I think they're kind of not
A
looking
lot
good.
of people like the Bengals, so I think that's an interesting
In that
open division
Right.
right now. I'm not super high on the Steelers. The Ravens kind
Lamar
of lost
Jackson.
more guys than they, new coach
A lot of new head coaches.
in both
Yeah.
of those spots. So in a weird way, the Bengals are the team with the most continuity in that division, which sounds weird because they just seem like a mess all the time. But I think this is a make or break for the Bengals. There's no way that coach survives another year. I'm surprised he's still there.
And Joe Burrow, another quarterback that just hadn't developed into. And Josh Allen in Buffalo.
Yep.
Similar, these guys are
Have to
supposed
take
to be
the next step.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that'll be interesting.
And then Philadelphia is always kind of, hit or miss, right? Can Hurts get them back to the big game? I mean, we'll see with them. They're always
Another new offensive coordinator.
Yeah, I feel that's
They do
I
a
think it's
different one every
down
year.
for Philly.
Yeah.
so some players to kind of watch around there. I think Bijan Robinson could be one of the best NFL players going right now. I mean, he seems pretty amazing.
Good player. I don't like that team.
Yeah.
Is
Well, their
Tua going to
quarterback
be their
is a quarterback.
quarterback?
Yeah.
I don't know. Their coach,
Two
Stefanski,
left-handers.
it's weird
Yeah.
how he got a job right away. We'll see.
Yeah, they're a quarterback away from being, and they
Good skill players.
Rick
Yeah.
London and
Yeah.
Pitts seems good, right? Jaden Daniels, another guy who, first year played amazing. Last year, obviously, had some injuries. What he kind of shows this year? Washington could be a decent team. I think that division is kind of ripe. I think Dallas is down. Philadelphia is a little, so we'll see.
That's
He's a guy.
true. He's in a debate now with LSU.
Yeah, that's odd.
Yeah.
They didn't retire his jersey, but some kid wants to wear it, and he's claiming
Well,
like
that
he
kid
owns it.
got
Right.
promised by Brian Kelly that
Yeah.
he could wear 5
Right.
when he got recruited.
Lane Kiffin walks right into that controversy.
Yeah.
But he can't hold the 5 from the
No,
team. I mean,
no.
he can't
Here's
do
the
that.
thing. How many guys are on a college roster? Like 90?
Yeah,
So
so
can you how many numbers can you even retire?
That's the problem. And you got guys offense and defense wearing the same numbers.
It's not like he was there all 4 years either.
Yeah,
One
that's
year
true.
with
transfer.
with he didn't even win anything when he was there. He won the Heisman.
Gosh, I was going to say.
These guys, obviously, I think they get too much hype, but they're very interesting to watch. Jackson Dart and Scatterbo. Like, I like watching those guys play together. They seem like they have a really good time out there. Will the Giants be any good? We'll see. But
Giants got Odell back.
yeah, I did see Odell.
They're going to be interesting with Harbaugh, the way he likes to run the ball. So it's going to be interesting. Scatterbo, I think he's okay. I don't know. You saw he did that backflip at some function he was at, and they thought he hurt himself. He's a kid from Rio Linda, I think, right?
Yeah.
There could have been some intoxication going on with that backflip.
Yes.
I would imagine, going on. Jonathan Taylor, another great running back out there. We'll see what Indianapolis has. And I just put Lamar Jackson down. I mean, the guy, I believe, has won 2 MVPs before. Can he get back to kind of the way, he goes with Baltimore? I mean, it's an interesting scenario. So, but I think there's a lot of great storylines in the NFL this year. It's kind of one of
including Netflix coverage. Let's see how that goes.
That'll be interesting.
We got opening night in Australia.
Mike brought up a good point. I mean, you're going to be looking around. Where is the game? It used to be you just turn on CBS and Fox.
That's it. Yeah.
Everything was good, right? But now we got Amazon games. We got Netflix games. Hopefully, you got YouTube TV, right? So you can get the red zone. Just a lot of going on. We're basically back to cable now, pretty much, is what's happening. Paying $150 for everything.
Well, you just got to stream. You just got to grab them all. Does Paramount have games too? Maybe?
I would imagine they're connected with NBC. They probably
Peacock probably has games.
Yeah, you got to get ESPN,
It's
right?
tough,
So it's the
man.
whole deal. So anyway,
Good luck.
we got week 2 preseason coming up against the Chargers on Thursday night. Be interested to see who plays, right?
Yeah.
Are we going to see any veterans out there or the same kind of squad that played week 1?
I guess we don't play too many guys.
No, they usually play in the last game, a couple series, just to get a feel for it. And it's just, I think it'll be interesting, just the matchup. Jim Harbaugh, Trey Lance, a lot of guys.
Probably see a lot of Trey Lance.
Yeah, they want to make sure that this second trade was worth it for them. So,
Wow.
and I wouldn't be surprised. The kid who lost the job, JJ in Minnesota. They might trade him. Harbaugh might make a trade for him to be his backup. Maybe send Lance to Minnesota and bring JJ McCarthy out to because he won a national championship with him, and the kid won the Heisman. So that'll be interesting to watch.
Yeah, Minnesota looks like they have given up on him. So that could be, that could definitely
He's
be a trade.
available.
Yeah.
And Detroit was another talk about him going there. Jared Goff's about 33 now. Just bring Marshall or JJ McCarthy and let him learn the game and then maybe be the next.
They're not going to trade him in the division, are they?
You know what? If you want to get rid of him, they don't care. And if they
True.
don't think he's going to be successful with them, they don't care.
Yeah,
where
I'd
he
love to
goes
play him
elsewhere.
twice a year if he sucks.
So,
Yeah. Especially if they really think. Kyler Murray was basically an outcast last year. Now he's starting over, right? So
it'll be interesting with him too. So.
Yeah. So a lot of great stuff around the NFL. Week 2 preseason coming up. We'll hopefully have maybe one more kickoff podcast before the start of the season, but we're looking forward to flying to us.
12-5 at least. Let's go.